Welcome back to the 2 in the 1. And today I'm taking a look at the Cincinnati Bengals and going over the 3 secrets to them making the playoffs in 2021. But before we get into that topic, question for those of you viewing: Jamar Chase, the first wide receiver taken in the draft this year, number 5 overall, do you think he will have a better or a worse rookie season than his former teammate Justin Jefferson, who was just a rookie in 2020? Some big expectations to live up to, but being drafted number 5 overall, some big expectations are coming either way. So comment down below you think it'll be better, worse, or maybe you think it'll be right around the same. You guys tell me, and I'll give my answer at the end. But getting straight into it, I made a couple other videos like this. I said 3 secrets to the Chargers winning the Super Bowl, 3 secrets to the Titans winning the Super Bowl, yada, yada, yada. But this one for the Bengals, I'm worrying about just the playoffs. Due to them being in such a tough division, having such a young team, I'm worried about the Bengals making the playoffs. So as of right now, Super Bowl, that's just too far of a stretch for this year in itself, in my opinion. But I mean, I'm sure there's a couple super biased fans out there that might think otherwise, but either way, I think it's a realistic goal to fight for the playoffs more than a Super Bowl, and Joe Burrow's just year 2. But secret number 1 is going to start off with Joe Burrow. He needs to play like a top 12 quarterback. You could argue he's already there, but I need it to be an understood statement across the league. And this is kind of a 2-part first secret. It's part 1 is Joe Burrow needs to play like a top 12 quarterback, and Jamar Chase needs to pan out. I don't need Jamar Chase to be like Jay Jettas and where he sets every rookie receiving record ever, but I don't need him, and he just can't be like Henry Ruggs, where he was the first receiver taken and he was awful. Do I think Henry Ruggs is turning around? Yes, but for his rookie year, it was not phenomenal. I need Jamar Chase just to pan out to be like a Chase Claypool, like a CeeDee Lamb, like a Brandon Ayuk, not a guy that carries his team, but a damn good receiver that can help them out. That's what I need from Jamar Chase. I'm not going to complain if he lives up to Justin Jefferson, but I'm just saying I just need him to perform like a CeeDee Lamb, like a Chase Claypool, a receiver that his team can count on. And along with Auden Tate, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, I think you can get there. So that was part 2 of the first secret, but back to part 1 of the first secret. Joe Burrow needs to play like a top 12 QB. Top 10 is going to be tight, especially in his second year, first year, whatever you want to call it, because he only played half a season for the most part. But top 12 QB is needed to come out of this tough division in the AFC North between the Ravens and Browns. Ravens, we know how good they are and how lethal Lamar is. I really like the defense. Browns as a whole has the top 3 roster in the league. Steelers, do I think they're regressing? Yes, but their defense is still top 5 in my opinion, with TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, Bud Dupree left. Devin Bush, Cameron Hayward, Minka Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden is still a very good defense. The offense might improve. The offensive line is awful for the Steelers, but still, they're not a team to just brush off and act like it's nothing. And therefore, to make it out of that tough division, Joe Burrow needs to play like a top 12 QB. And Jamar Chase has to pan out and live somewhat up to the hype. Again, I don't need him to be the next Megatron or Justin Jefferson and Randy Moss, but I need him to be a valuable player that his team could count on. I just can't, basically it means he can't be a bust. That's what the secret is to him and Joe Burrow for part 1 of the secrets. Secret number 2 is going to be that the defense needs to be an upper half defense league. They need to be at least top 16. I think it's possible, but I don't think it's easy in the slightest. Getting in Trey Hendrickson to create some pass rush, that's going to determine a lot. Can he match his 12.5 sacks that he had last year? I don't think so. I feel like with the Saints, when you're on an amazing roster with the Saints, when you got Demario Davis, you have Davenport, you have Cameron Jordan, that's great. But when you go to the Bengals and you're kind of alone, you're kind of the star guy, you're going to start getting double team more, especially after 12.5 sacks, and you're going to be the number 1 guy, and you don't have as much help, not to knock the Bengals, but compared to the Saints defense last year, we could all agree they were much better. I do think it'll be an issue. I think he could definitely fight for double digits again, but I do think it'll be hard for him to match his 12.5. Secondary is pretty solid. Jesse Bates, some people think he's the number 1 safety in the league. I'm going to put him in my top 3, top 5, just because I haven't ranked my safeties. He could be number 1. I just haven't sat down and made my list. Von Bell's pretty good. We all like the crack he made on Juju Smith. Brought in Trey Waynes. You got Mike Hilton. Secondary is definitely improving to a pretty good amount, but still, where is it at amongst the league? If you want to make the playoffs, we do need an above-average defense for and from the Bengals. The offense, that's good. They're going to hold their own, in my opinion. The offensive line, is it as good as I want it to be? No. But is it definitely improved compared to last year? Yes. With Riley Reiff, with Jonah Williams. Pretty good O-line, at least when it comes to your tackles. They also got a guard in the second round, Jackson Carman. It's developing, and it's going to get there. And then, as I said, the offense is going to be there. If you got Joe Burrow being a top 12 QB, Jamar Chase panning out to be pretty good, along T. Higgins, along Tyler Boyd, along Auden Tate, Joe Mixon, if he's healthy, the offense is going to be fine. The defense is what may hold them back and keep them back, especially being in that division. Steelers still one of the best defenses. Browns, I don't know how it will be, but they've definitely addressed it this year. You already got Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. They added John Johnson, added Troy Hill, added Greg Newsome, added JOK, added Jadeveon Clowney. Ravens, we know they have one of the best secondaries in the league. Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith, Tavon Young, Deshaun Elliott, Patrick Queen, Calais Campbell. They need a defense that doesn't need to necessarily be better than any of those teams, but definitely just needs to hold their own. And therefore, being below average is not going to help this team get out of that division and make the playoffs. They don't have to win the division, but just being a wild card spot, they still need an above average defense. And secret number 3, Zach Taylor needs to coach like his job depends on it, because it does. Zach Taylor needs to have his best year yet. A lot of people like the Sean McVay coaching tree, which Zach Taylor's from, because we've seen talent come from there. Zach Taylor, his talent is questionable, and I'm not trying to knock him. I'm not saying I necessarily think he's a bad coach. I mean, the hand he's been dealt has been kind of tough. Going to the AFC North, going to the Bengals, who has been struggling the past decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, whatever you want to call it. They haven't had a playoff win, I believe, 20-plus years. Being in the same division as the Ravens, as the Browns, as the Steelers. It's not easy. And then you get your star quarterback finally, and he goes down his rookie year. You know, Zach Taylor's been dealt a rough hand, but this year, he's still being dealt a rough hand with all these young players and still being in a tough division. None of that really changed, but still we need to see him prove and just be this cerebral game master, whatever you want to call it, innovative offensive mind. He needs to go to the next level and coach his ass off if he wants to save this team and help them get to the playoffs. If he could coach this team to the playoffs, he's going to save his job. He's going to save his career, save his reputation around the league. It's going to help him out, and it won't be easy. You know, being with John Harbaugh, one of the top 10 coaches in the league, Mike Tomlin, one of the top 10 coaches in the league, Kevin Stefanski just won Coach of the Year. That's tough. You know, I keep thinking of the NFC West. You got Pete Carroll, one of the more respected coaches in the league, with Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. Those 3 are great. And then you got Cliff Kingsbury from the Cardinals at the bottom. That's what it's looking like for the Bengals and Zach Taylor. You got 3 great coaches in the division, and then your 4th one's whatever. Zach Taylor, you need to get on par with them. And I'm not trying to say you got to win Coach of the Year. I love the John Harbaugh, who's won a Super Bowl, Mike Tomlin, who's won a Super Bowl, but he just needs to be able to on par with them so they can become a playoff team. Won't be easy for the Bengals this year, and that's why I didn't make a Super Bowl video about them. But I think if you could get Joe Burrow playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, top 12, top 10, Jamar Chase panning out, along T. Higgins, along Tyler Boyd, along Auden Tate. You know, if Jamar Chase could play like T. Higgins last year as a rookie, you're going to be looking pretty good. That's what I'm looking for out of him. If your defense could be average to above average, you're looking good. And if Zach Taylor could coach his best yet, go past what we've seen, the best of them so far, I do think this team has a chance to make a wild card run. Not saying they'll win the division, but wild card, it's a toss-up between the Chargers, between the Dolphins, between the Patriots, between the Steelers, the Browns, the Ravens. I think they could be along that mix. I don't know if they'll win the division or even get 5th seed, but maybe 7th seed. Could they slip in at 9-8, 10-7? Possibly. It just depends on how the standings go. But I think if all 3 of those come into place, they have a decent shot at least being in the hunt. You guys tell me, though, do you agree or disagree with my secrets on the Bengals to make the playoffs this year? Just to go over one more time. Joe Burrow's got to be top 12. Part 2 to that is Jamar Chase has to pan out, be like a T. Higgins, be like a CeeDee Lamb, be like a Chase Claypool. Doesn't need to be the next best thing, but he needs to pan out. Number 2 is being an above average defense. And number 3 is Zach Taylor coaching his best year yet. You guys tell me. And for back to the question today, do I think Jamar Chase will be better or worse than Justin Jefferson in his rookie year, or on par? I would say worse, just because Jay Jettis sets every record ever. I don't want to say ever, but I feel like it's going to be hard to match. I know he's got that type of talent. I believe in him to, play at Jay Jettis' level at some point in his career, but I don't see it happening in his rookie year. Just with that really good and really crowded receiving room and not having the identity of this offense yet, I don't think he'll get there. I think he'll put up impressive numbers, but not Jay Jetta numbers, and be top 5 in receiving yards amongst the entire league. You guys tell me, though, what's your answer? As always, and of course, thank you for watching. 2-Minute Warning.